Welcome to Comic Power. I am your host, Comic Killer 72. This segment today is called Wicked Wednesday. If you didn't know, Wednesday is the new release for new comics that come out every week. These are my recommendations for the best books to pick up on Wednesday. I will also name one book to be the speculation pick of the week. The comic industry is putting out so many good books, they're giving you no choice but to spend more money on comics than you really want to. First up, DC is giving us Batman #6. The new writer Tom King has his hands full trying to take over for Scott Snyder in that excellent run of the New 52, but he's doing a great job. But let's face it, picking up Batman every week that it comes out is a no-brainer. Next up, let's stay on Batman, and this is Batman Beyond #16. This is the future Batman where Terry McGinnis dons a persona with a capeless Batman with black and red. A rebirth #1 of this character is coming very soon. Up next is Cyborg Rebirth #1 of the future Justice League movie. This is the character that is the least known. He was originally a Teen Titan that got upgraded to the JLA. When the movie drops, he'll help boost his popularity and people will be searching for books like this #1. Next up is Harley Quinn #3. Poison Ivy shows up here and helps her fight the zombies of Coney Island. There's going to be a future Harley Quinn movie that's already been confirmed, so I'm curious to see how they will handle the Poison Ivy character in that movie, because she's going to show up, it's certain. Next up is Supergirl #1. And I'm really loving this artwork from Brian Ching. He's not very well known, but he should be. He's an awesome talent. Next up is Superman #6. Superman and his son must fight the Eradicator in a battle that may save the day but wind up destroying the moon. The Son of Superman plotline has been well received, and you're going to see more of this in the weeks to come. Next up is The Sheriff of Babylon #10, which is from Vertigo, a division of DC Comics. It's one of the best books you're not reading. It's about a Florida policeman that takes a job as a contractor in Iraq after the fall of Baghdad in 2003. It's based on true events and is written by Tom King, the same guy that's writing Batman. This is issue 10 of a 12-part miniseries. You should go back and get issue 1 and work your way up. It's gritty, dark, and brutal, but a great read. Next up is Unfollow #11, another incredible book from Vertigo Comics. It's the story of a dying social media billionaire who's going to leave his fortune to 140 random characters, or whoever's still alive at the time of his death. And they start knocking each other off to take up a bigger piece of the pie. The number on the bottom right is the number that's still alive out of that 140. So 11 have died so far, and they're not coming back. Next up, let's see what Marvel is up to. And that's going to be Moon Knight #6. Is Mark Spector really a superhero, or are we seeing the visions of a man who's trapped in a mental hospital who's going berserk? Whatever the truth is, this is a great read by Jeff Lemire. He's a great writer. Next up is Invincible Iron Man #13. The events of Civil War II have ended. Tony Stark has some internal conflicts again. You should be paying attention to this because they're setting it up where Riri Williams is going to take over as the new Iron Man, aka Ironheart. And that's going to be a huge event this winter. Next up is the trade paperback for Secret Wars. This collects issues #1 through 9 as well as Free Comic Book Day Secret Wars #0. And it retails for about $35. Instead of getting all 10 of the individual comics, you can get them all here collected in one volume. All the changes of the current Marvel continuity are the ramifications of what happened here in this crossover. Next up is Silk #12. Where she finds herself in the Phantom Zone. This Spider-Man spinoff character has renewed interest in her because she may be appearing in the upcoming Spider-Man live-action movie Homecoming. Her civilian name is Cindy Moon. Issue 12 also has a cosplay variant which is selling very well pre-sale on eBay. Marvel's tried cosplay covers before to no success, but this one looks great and it's selling very well as a 1 in 10 variant. It's selling for about $15 pre-sale right now. Next up is our report on independent comics and small publishers. First up is Six #8, and this is the finale of this 8-part miniseries from 451 Media. This is the publisher that's linked to producer and director Michael Bay, so people are speculating that these properties might become future films. Next up is Thin #1 from American Gothic Press. This is a story of a woman who's mired in this obsession of guilt about becoming thin, who tries to get a miracle cure and uncovers a deadly horror. This was originally printed as a graphic novel that's now being transferred to the comic format. This is issue 1 of a 3-part miniseries. Next up is Rise of the Black Flame #1 from Dark Horse Comics. And you may ask, why should I care? You should care because this is written by Mike Mignola. He's the same guy that created and wrote Hellboy. He's a damn good artist too, but he's not drawing here, he's only writing. It's the story of some young girls lost in Siam And the trail leads to the jungle and is the hideout of a bloodthirsty cult, and they wield the ancient evil power of the cult of the Black Flame. Next up is Skyborn #1 from Boom Studios. This is written, created, and drawn by Frank Cho, shown here. He is famous for being the artist and the designer of the new Totally Awesome Hulk, in the person of Amadeus Cho, no relation. But back to Skyborn. It's a story of King Arthur, but told in a modern day setting. This man here, Skyborn, is the only one that can stop the evil Merlin from destroying the world. Next up, and what sure is going to be the most controversial book you're going to see out there, is Alters #1 from Aftershock Comics, because it's about transgender superheroes. In this story, a woman who is trying to turn from male to female transitions into a powerful alter, which is similar to a mutant in the Marvel universe. Next up is the speculation pick of the week. And that's going to be Kill or Be Killed #2 from Image Comics. It's the twisted tale of a young man who unsuccessfully commits suicide and decides to become a vigilante. There's some strange, dark stuff going on in this comic, but it's very, very entertaining. Think of Moon Knight meets Kick-Ass. Issue #1 was on my consideration list as the Spec pick of the week back on August 3rd, but it just couldn't beat out Lady Killer. There's that K word again. Kill or Be Killed, Lady Killer. There's a whole bunch of killing going on. Issue #1 is also going to a second print, which is also a variant with a white cover. When a book is a hit, a second print variant can blow up like crazy like it did with Monstrous. Kill or Be Killed is worth your $4. I would grab issue #1 and 2 and that second print variant on #1. If your local comic store is selling it for cover and not jacking up the price yet. Next up is Paper Girls #9, also from Image Comics. It won the Eisner and the Harvey Award for Best New Comic Series. The writer is Brian K. Vaughan, the same guy that writes Saga. At this point in the series, you probably have no idea what's going on, so you probably want to go out and find issue #1, Paper Girls, so you can start from the beginning, or just get a trade paperback. It's a critical success, but not a commercial success yet, so you should be able to get it for cover. Next up, and also from Image Comics, is Red One #3. It's the story of a Soviet secret agent who's undercover in California in the early 1970s. It is poorly written. The story makes no sense. It's very convoluted, but it's worth the $3 cover charge because these covers are awesome. Issue #1 actually dropped back in 2015 and had this fantastic cover. Terry Dodson really knows how to draw the female figure. Next up from Image Comics is Walking Dead #157. This is part 1 of the new story arc called The Whisper War. And this issue went to a second printing. I highly recommended this last time when it came out, the first print. And I told you to stock up on it because I love the way the art looked on this second print variant. I wish Arthur Adams did the artwork for The Walking Dead every month. Next up, if you didn't know, Heavy Metal Magazine is making straight up comics now, and they're giving us Aftermath, The Big Clean #1. And this is one of their newer releases, which has become a big hit on pre-sale. It's already selling for above cover, and boy is it strange. It's a dystopian future that's dominated by a cartoon empire named Walden, which is ruled over by Dewey the dog. The writer and artist is Kevin Molan, and he must be on drugs to think up something this really out far left in the field. Next up is Rebel #1 from Joe Books, Inc. A man named Joseph Moore is an assassin for a corporation called the Enterprise. He's put on trial for murder, and his daughter Skylar finds out that he's still in debt to the Enterprise. This title has already been optioned to become a movie, but you hear that all the time. We'll see if it happens. And last but not least, from Valiant Comics is Ninjak #19. This is the best comic series you're not reading. Just imagine if James Bond was a ninja with some mystical stuff thrown in. It's been recently announced that Ninjak is going to be developed into a web series, and this is happening. This is not just talk. So you might want to pick up his first appearances, which are Bloodshot #6 and 7 from back in 1993. You probably can find them in the dollar bin in some local comic book stores, so go ahead and stack up now. It's going to pay off later if you do this. In the meantime, read the comic. It's excellent. It's some of the best spy espionage type of action you'll ever see in any comic. That's about it for today. Thank you for watching Wicked Wednesday, where I review all the new comic books for a new comic day. Be sure to follow my blog at comicpower.net. On social media, follow me at facebook.com/comicpower.net and comicpower-universe.tumblr.com. And don't forget twitter.com/comicpowersub. I also sell comics on eBay at this link. This is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye. Don't forget to share this video, click on subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and tell everyone you know about this channel to help it grow. Thank you for your support.